on AMC True Crime.
What you're about to hear is the tragic story of a family whose lives were cut short in one of Mexico's most shocking crimes of 2025. A story that begins with dreams of social media success and ends in unimaginable horror. This is Esmeralda Ferrer Garibay, a 32-year-old Mexican influencer who built a following of 43,000 people by sharing glimpses of what appeared to be a luxurious lifestyle. Designer bags, expensive cars, exotic vacations. Her feed was the picture of success. But on August 22, 2025, Esmeralda, her husband, and their 2 young children were found dead, their bodies wrapped in plastic and abandoned in a pickup truck in Guadalajara. What happened to this family, and why were they targeted? Stay with me as we uncover the dark truth behind this devastating case. Before we dive into this heartbreaking story, if you're interested in true crime cases and want to stay updated on the latest investigations, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It really helps the channel grow and ensures you never miss a case. Also, let me know in the comments if you've heard about this story before. Now let's get into what really happened to the Ferrer Garibay family. To understand this tragedy, we need to first understand who Esmeralda was. Born and raised in Mexico, Esmeralda Ferrer Garibay began her journey into social media in 2020, starting with simple lip-sync videos and comedy clips on TikTok. Like many content creators, she evolved her brand over time. By 2025, she had transformed her online presence into a lifestyle and travel influencer, showcasing what appeared to be an enviable life of luxury. Her content featured designer brands Dior, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, expensive cars, cosmetic procedures, and vacations that most people could only dream of. To her 43,000 followers, Esmeralda represented success and aspiration. But behind the glamorous posts was a mother and wife. Esmeralda was married to Roberto Carlos Gil Licea, who was 36 years old. Together they had 2 beautiful children, 13-year-old Gail Santiago and 7-year-old Regina. They seemed like the perfect family living the perfect life. August 22, 2025, started like any other day in the San Andres neighborhood of Guadalajara, Mexico. But what happened that day would shock the local community and eventually capture international attention. Authorities received reports about an abandoned pickup truck that had been left in the area. When they approached the vehicle to investigate, what they found inside was beyond horrific. 4 bodies, wrapped in plastic, were discovered inside the truck. The victims had been there for several days before being found. Initially, the bodies were unidentified, just 4 more victims in a region that has sadly seen too much violence. It would take several days before the shocking truth emerged. These weren't just random victims. The 4 bodies belonged to Esmeralda Ferrer Garibay, her husband Roberto, and their 2 young children. A family that just days earlier had been living their lives, sharing moments on social media and going about their daily routines, was now gone. The question that immediately arose was simple but haunting. Who would do this to an entire family, and why? As news of the discovery spread, Mexican authorities launched a full investigation into what had become a quadruple homicide case. The initial findings painted a disturbing picture of what had happened to the family. Forensic evidence revealed that the family hadn't been killed where they were found. Bloodstains discovered at a mechanic's workshop told a different story entirely. This is where the family had actually been murdered before their bodies were moved to the pickup truck. The mechanic's workshop became the primary crime scene, and investigators began piecing together the final hours of the Ferrer Garibay family's lives. But as they dug deeper, they realized this wasn't a random crime of opportunity. Initially, several individuals were detained in connection with the murders, including 3 men who worked at the mechanic shop where the family was killed. However, due to insufficient evidence, these individuals were later released. The investigation took a significant turn when prosecutor Alfonso Gutierrez Santillon made a public statement that would change the entire direction of the case. He revealed that preliminary findings suggested this wasn't just a random crime. It appeared to be linked to organized cartel violence. As investigators dug deeper into the family's background, a disturbing picture began to emerge. While Esmeralda's social media presence suggested a life of luxury and success, the source of that wealth may have been far more dangerous than her followers ever realized. The focus of the investigation shifted to Roberto Carlos Gil Licea, Esmeralda's husband. Authorities discovered that Roberto was involved in two specific business ventures that may have put the entire family at risk. Roberto was engaged in vehicle trading and tomato farming operations in Michoacán, a state in Mexico that has been heavily affected by cartel activity and organized crime. These seemingly legitimate businesses may have attracted the wrong kind of attention. Michoacán has long been a battleground for various criminal organizations, particularly cartels involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and territorial disputes. For someone operating businesses in this region, the risk of becoming entangled with criminal elements is unfortunately very real. According to investigators, Roberto appears to have been the primary target of this attack. The evidence suggests that Esmeralda and their two children were collateral victims, innocent family members who were killed simply because they were present when the attack occurred. This wasn't about social media drama or online conflicts. This was about the brutal reality of organized crime in Mexico, where entire families can be wiped out over business disputes or territorial conflicts. As of today, despite extensive investigation efforts, no one has been officially charged with the murders of the Ferrer Garibay family. The case remains open, with authorities continuing to pursue leads and gather evidence. The release of the initially detained suspects due to insufficient evidence highlights one of the major challenges in prosecuting cartel-related crimes in Mexico. Witnesses are often too afraid to come forward, evidence can be destroyed or contaminated, and the criminal networks involved are sophisticated and well-organized. For Esmeralda's followers and the online community that knew her, the news came as a devastating shock. The woman who had shared her life so openly with thousands of people was suddenly gone, along with her entire family. Friends and family members described Esmeralda as a loving mother who was devoted to her children. Roberto was remembered as a hard-working father trying to provide for his family. Gail and Regina were just children with their whole lives ahead of them. The case has sparked conversations about the hidden dangers that can lurk behind social media success stories, particularly in regions affected by organized crime. It's also highlighted the ongoing crisis of violence in Mexico, where innocent families can become victims of conflicts they never chose to be part of. The story of Esmeralda Ferrer Garibay and her family serves as a tragic reminder that the curated lives we see on social media often hide complex realities underneath. While Esmeralda shared her seemingly perfect life with thousands of followers, the dangerous world her husband operated in remained hidden from view. What makes this case particularly heartbreaking is the involvement of two innocent children. Gail, at 13, was just beginning to discover who he wanted to become. Regina, at only 7 years old, barely had a chance to experience life at all. They became victims not because of anything they did, but simply because of who their father was and the business interests that put him in harm's way. As the investigation continues, the hope remains that justice will eventually be served for this family. But for now, their story stands as a sobering reminder of the real-world consequences of organized crime and the innocent lives that are lost in its wake. The next time you see a perfect life portrayed on social media, remember Esmeralda's story. Remember that behind every curated post, every luxury item, and every seemingly perfect moment, there are real people living complex lives in an often dangerous world. What do you think about this case? Have you heard about similar situations where social media influencers became victims of violence? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more true crime content. Until next time, stay safe out there.